so this week I'm painting this strawberry, but let's go back to the beginning and have some fun watching how it's done. All right, friends, welcome. I'm here to have some fun today and hopefully you'll enjoy this as well. I'm going to paint this lovely strawberry here and give you a little bit of dialogue along the way. Who knows where that'll lead. But yeah, we're going to do this cute little strawberry. So I love doing grids, so we're going to start off by doing a grid. And because I'm not being absolutely perfectly worried about being perfect, every strawberry's different, I'm just sort of roughly putting in, well, that was very rough, my grid, and we'll go from there. All right, let's just get that sorted. Roughly in the middle there, and then roughly in the middle here, and then roughly in the middle here. So I've just got a nice little grid all ruled up. Look at that. Excellent. All right, now we're just going to draw this in. So it's right up the top here, just goes through this little spot. So I like to draw in with a grey lead. You can actually draw in with, you know, like pastel pencils. Some people like doing that. I just love using grey leads. They are a little bit harder to rub out later on if you want to get rid of the lines and stuff, and pastel pencils probably rub off a bit better. Grey lead just feels good. I just like it, and yeah, so I'm sticking with it. All right, so just getting this shape in, just looking at the negative space as well as the positive space. So negative being the space that's around the object, positive space being what is actually part of the object. In this case, it's a strawberry. So it doesn't feel right calling it an object, does it really? Anyway, I'm going to try to draw in all of these little bits. So I'm just looking at where the end of that leaf goes, and it's sort of about there. Sometimes I do like to just sort of draw in where the end point is to some things. That helps. And over here we've got like a little flicky bit going, so let's do that like that. And then we've got a little bit of white space in here in that corner, so let's leave that in there. All right, and then we've got another little leaf there, and a big one down here, and it ends about there, I reckon. So I'll make that go down to there. It might not be exactly the same. We're not too worried about that. Maybe I've gone a little bit wide there, and there we go. Put that in, and there's another little bit there. All right, and then we've got our water drops. Although before I do the water drops, I'm going to rub out the lines in the background. Yeah, just because I want to get a nice clean look at the end. All right, see what I mean? Pencil marks, they don't come out off really easily. You can sort of paint white over that if we really, really want to. Okay, nearly there. Get all those bits off. There we go, pretty good. Close enough. Blow all that away. Okie dokie. All right, so let's now I've rubbed the lines out. I can't see exactly where those go, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to make this one go, it goes a little bit less than halfway down, doesn't it? Yep. All right, and then we go up and around. So sort of pretty much smack bang in the middle of those two squares, or those two lines. And then we've got another water drop over here. Always looking at where the top of it is, where the bottom of it is. So it is a little bit above halfway. Right there, and then we've got another two little ones touching the line here. I can still see the line a little bit. There, and then another one over here. We go here, roughly there. There we go. How are we going with that? We might put this water drop in as well before we keep moving there, and like that. Now I've got to make a decision here whether I actually paint it in red and then do all the dots, or do I do the dots now with pencil? This is a question that I'm still not decided on. I like when I'm doing these demonstrations to not think about it at all before I start, so that you can hear my thinkings, my decision makings because that's what you'll be doing if you're trying to do a painting, and you'll be like, oh, what, how do I do this? I reckon I'm going to paint the background first because I don't know yet if I go and put in all those dots in whether the paint's going to be transparent enough to be able to see them, and I don't want to do all that work and then have to come back and do it. So let's put that little pencil down and go to the next stage. All right, so let's grab a brush. I have here size 4 filbert. Okay, it's got quite a point on it, that one. Filberts sort of had that little round bit on the end. When you turn them, they're a bit more thin, and I really like these sort of brushes. And I've got a really tiny little filbert one as well. When you turn it, it's thinner, and you can see it there. And then I've also got a rigger, which it's not the most fantastic rigger I could find in the house, but I think I should be able to get a good point out of that later when we want to do all those little dots. So they're not very big brushes because it's not a very big painting. So I'm going to start with the red, why not? Okay, I always like to go for the darker areas first, so I'm not going to think about all the dots here. I will go around these 3 water drops that I can see there. We'll do these other water drops last, I'm pretty sure. All right, so a little bit of medium, and I'm just grabbing a bit of magenta and a bit of sort of deep red to try and get that really dark area. It's not going to be the right color to start with. I'm just going to pop that in. And as I'm putting that in, I'm also looking at making sure that what I drew was right. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to grab a little bit more. I'm going to grab a little bit of black into that because it feels like it's not quite dark enough. It's really dark over here. And a fair bit of medium so that I can get that to go nice and smooth, make that edge look really smooth. If you don't have enough medium, then that can start sort of dragging, and you'll see all the texture that's in the canvas. All right, so the dark, not the black, goes in a little way, not a long way. And it does come around that water drop a little bit. So we'll start that round there. Cool, so far so good. All right, it starts to get lighter. I need a really bright white, a lighter spot right on the bottom there, but we'll do that later. All right, I'm going to add some more red to my brush. I'm not going to, clean my brush because I want all what was on there to be on here as well, so it mixes in. Now I think that's probably a little bit too bright, but I'll mix in a little bit of that color there just to see where it goes. I don't know what I mean by see where it goes. See how it mixes. A little bit more medium so that I can get it to flow on and fill all the little gaps. I think it still needs to be darker, but before I do that, I might sort of try and fill in a little bit more of the red, because I'm liking this red. It's a really nice red. Another little water drop there, so we'll go around that. All right, and down here seems to be quite a nice sort of little spot. Now this is like I think this is like a cadmium deep red. It's a darker red. It's not like bright spectrum red. If you want to, learn how to paint and do things like this, you can go to my wonderful online membership where we have lots of people on there. Each month we go and we paint one of these little minis. It's called Limitless, because your painting is limitless. You can do amazing things. So yeah, you can go to, I'll put it on the screen here, paintingwithheather.com/limitless, and join me. It doesn't cost much per month, just probably a coffee and half a muffin. And you can come and join me, and you can, what you do is you get all of the paint colors, you get all of the instructions, you get a video full length, but you also get to come on live with me online and hear me talking just like I am now. But you'll see me actually painting, using the paints, what paints I'm using. You'll get a download with all the paints. You get a download with the gridded image, as you see here. And it's a great community. It's fun. It's a really lovely group of people from all around the world. I'd love you to join me if you want to come and learn how to paint one little thing like this a month. We often cover the whole canvas, but on these YouTubes, I'm often just doing a little section of a canvas, which is a lot of fun as well. Yeah, so yeah, come and join me. But anyway, back to painting. Let's try and get some shapes in here. That's quite a nice little round shape there. Okay, it's all a bit too bright at the moment, but I'm just trying to get my act together here, work out what's going on. Feels like it gets a bit more white in it here, so I'm going to grab a little bit of white and sort of brighten that red a little bit around this edge. And sort of, it's a little bit more pink, isn't it? Right around the bottom, a bit more pinky colour, and then around here. Just checking that I've got the right shape still, that my pencil, drawing was still okay. And we will come back and do all the little bits later. All the little, what are you, I don't know, seeds, I suppose, that's what they are. All right, if you've got a name, if you know what the name of those are, put them in the comments so I know what to call it next time I do a strawberry. All right, let's get some right down to the bottom there. There we go, got a little bit of shape happening in there. Just blend it together, move the brush around. There's lots of different colours happening up here, and that doesn't suddenly stop, so I'm just going to try and blend that. Ooh, whoops, oh, we're changing the shape of this strawberry a little bit. That's all right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it might go a little bit darker. Now I'm sort of looking at it going, I think it needs to go a little darker in this spot here. I'm just grabbing a little bit of that one that had a bit of black on it, just to bring that over a little bit there. Feel like that's looking better. Ooh, up here's a lot of different things going on up here. I'm going to grab my paper towel, I'll wipe my brush, and change some colours up here a little bit. And I like to sort of get the paint on and then play around. All right, so up here it's a bit more orangey, so I'm just going to grab a little bit more orange or golden yellow, cad yellow or something to my red, because I feel like it's got a bit more of a reddy feel up in here. And we've got a bit of a shadow going on under there, so we'll just get this really bright, gorgeous reddy feel. That looks nice. And that is actually in the water drop as well, so but it's a little bit lighter, so I might grab a little bit of white. So we'll just fill that in while we've got the paintbrush, while we've got those colours in my, while I'm thinking about it, but it is definitely a lot lighter than what's there. Might be a bit too peachy colour, Heather, I think. I might need to bring in a little bit more red to that. Okay, we'll try that. I'll just get a bit more red, and that's better. Make it look a bit more orangey. All right, we'll get that down to there. That's better, I think, yeah. All right, we'll just keep going around that edge, just get that nice and smooth, filling in all the white spots. Excellent. And we can play around with some light and stuff in a minute. I'm just trying to get the general colours down here. It's a lot more red into this water drop and also this water drop here. So I'm going to go back to my sort of brighter red, a little bit of medium. See if we can make it a bit lighter. It's got to be lighter, that little spot there. That's not too bad. Fill all that in. We can play around with that later. So we've sort of got a starting point there. I might have used a bit too much medium on that. I'm going to go grab a little bit more red just to sort of blend it in at the top there. I think that's a bit better. Yep. All right. We can play around with that a little bit later. All right, now let's do this little water drop here. Again, it's got some nice red in it, so let's get that happening. Blend it in with the background. A little bit brighter. I'm going to grab a little bit of orange into that red, just to try and get that to stand out. Maybe even a little bit of white. I don't want to make it too peachy though, just to get that to look a bit different. Ooh, it's not quite looking different now, is it? Let's try. I'm going to try a little bit of bright yellow, just to brighten that a bit, just to get that working. There we go. Just getting that colour in there. Once we bring some highlights into that, it'll make more sense too. All right, now this is where it gets tricky because you've got these sort of light spots happening in there as well. So, but I think I'm going to bring all that in later. So I'm going to put some more of this sort of orangey colour in here. Whoop, too much medium. Wipe my brush. Move it around a bit. Go and get some more paint. Push it into all the little cracks. It feels like It's a little darker over this side, darker red, just a little bit. So I'll pop some of that in. And a little bit darker up in here. Filling all those little gaps in, filling all the canvas little white bits. I want to make sure that they're all covered. Okay, some interesting colours happening up in here. I'll wipe my brush again. Ooh, this is just like a shadowy thing. So I'm going to grab a little bit of brown, a little bit of white into my deeper, darker red. A bit more brown. I'm just doing a bit of a mix and see what I come up with. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. We'll try that. Maybe a little bit more brown. Okay, we'll try that. So it feels like it's sort of all over there. Up in behind that water drop, isn't it? Get that nice and smooth there. Get up to my pencil line. That looks good. I was just checking it was still recording. All right, let's keep going here and get some darker brown. I'm going to go for some brown and a little bit of black here. It just feels like that shadow. That shadow should be a bit more intense under there, just at that spot. Yes, sorry. That's better. Maybe just a little bit up there as well. Cool. All right, and I'm going to grab a bit of white with that colour because I feel like there's sort of a similar colour, but it's oops, I just bumped it. A similar colour, but it's a bit lighter down in here. A bit more browny colours. Mix everything in because the oils stay wet and it just looks great. All right, wipe my brush again because we're going into some greens and yellows now. So I'll grab a little bit of sap green and a little bit of white. Still using the same brush because we're sort of, playing with similar colours, yeah? So I don't mind using what's on the brush to sort of blend things a little bit. All right, let's get that green throughout and then we'll play with some lighter colours in a minute. So it's a bit of sap green, a bit of whatever was left on my brush. All right, so we'll go into there, like that. It needs to be a little bit greener, doesn't it? Let's grab some brighter green, see if we can bring some greener colour into that. We'll do the leaves later. I'm going to do this part first. Where else can I see it feeling a bit greener? Under there. All right, get some more colour. That's better. And then there's sort of like a dark patch here, isn't there? A bit more dark green into that spot. We'll do a bit of blendy. Now there's some yellow there, so or sort of a lighter colour here. So let me see what I can do with that. We'll get some white and some yellow. And a little bit of green. Okay, so I feel like we've got a lighter spot coming in there and another one coming just there. Just a little bit. It's probably even brighter. Just a little bit brighter. Yeah, that's better. Just brighten that up a little bit. Cool. All right. I think I'm going to leave that like that just for the moment while we play around with some of the rest of it. Do I do the leaves next or do I go with the detail? I'm going to go with the leaves actually because then once I've done the details, that's done. All right, let's grab some dark green with some sap green with a little bit of black because that green's a bit intense. So I'm going to come in and do this dark green here. All right, just get that shape in. Need a bit of medium to make it go on a bit better, but not too much that it runs around. We don't want that. We don't want it to look like watercolor. All right, so I'll go down to here, get that shape in. All right, that's not too bad. To there, I'll come down a little bit further. Get that shape in there. All right, and now we've got another one over here. Get the same sort of colour. So I'm sort of trying to look at where it's a similar colour intensity of green. All right, and there's a few different shades in this, but I'll just lay this colour down first. A little bit of medium so it goes on a bit smoother. Get that in first. That's not too bad, but now on the end of that is a little bit lighter, so I'm going to grab a little bit of white and just sort of pop that on the end there, blend that in a bit. There's a bit of texture to it, so I'm just sort of dabbing it around a little bit just to give it a bit more texture. All right, and then we've got that other little bit that's sticking down behind it there, which is sort of unusual. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'll try my best to just do a shape that looks like that. Not too bad. And I've got a shadow under there, but we'll do that later. Now we're going to go back to the really dark greeny parts. And there's another dark bit, greeny bit here. Just get that in. Still using this size 4 brush. And then there's another one here. So let's see if we can get that shape in. I'm liking this brush because it's got a really good point on it. So some brushes can be smaller, but they might not be, you know, I don't know, be able to sort of obtain a good point. And I'm really liking this one. All right, so we want to make sure that's dark enough. I think it is. There's a little bit more dark under that little bit there. All right, we've got our sort of dark spots, yep. So let's go now and get some lighter green. A little bit of white and a little bit of lighter green there. Is that too... Ooh, okay, I don't mind that. We'll see how we go. We'll fill it in and see what it looks like. I didn't know if it was contrasted enough, but I think it might be all right. Maybe not. Maybe it needs to be a bit more... It's not quite green enough, so I'm going to grab a bit more brighter green. Just try and come on top there. That's a bit better. A little bit bigger than what's up there, but we can fiddle around with that. I feel like we've lost a bit of our greeny colour. That's okay. All right, let's try this little bit here now. Get that colour in. I think that could be a lot lighter. I'm going to grab a bit more white and mix it in there. That's it. There we go. Feels like it's got a little bit more yellowy colour in it, doesn't it? I feel like I've missed a bit of that yellowy, bright yellowy green. So I'll just see if I can introduce a bit of yellowy green on top. Same with this bit. A bit more yellow in there. Oh, I might have put too much now, but oh, not too bad. All right, so what else have we got? We've got this little bit here. Fill that in. And then a little bit here. And there's also the little stem, I suppose. It's a little stem sticking out there, so let's pop that in. It's got a little bit there, and it's sort of got a little flick there, and a little flick there. Just a little thing. That's probably enough, isn't it? All right, how are we doing? I think that'll do for that. Let's get back into this wonderful strawberry here and have some fun with that. All right, so next step for me is to try and just look, what are the things I can see that stand out? The water drop sort of shapes. So I can see that there's like a pinky, peachy, grey, interesting-y colour going around the edge of this one. So I'm just going to put that in, just to get that in there. And then same with this one down here. It's got that sort of peachy colour around the edge. I'm going to do a time-lapse version now, and if you want to join me at mypaintingwithheather.com/limitless, my Limitless membership, you can come online and you'll hear me say all of the details that I'm talking about here, all the colours. You even see me mixing all the colours as well, but yeah, here you'll just see me chatting away as we go through this last little bit. So I'm having a bit of fun trying to get all of the details in here. I don't know about you, but I love strawberries, I love berries, and I thought it was a little bit of fun to actually paint a fruit. This is actually from my fridge, and I got a really strong light. It's actually the light that I use in my studio for recording these YouTubes. that you see here on the white screen, on the white table there. So it's nice and bright, and I just pop a little bit of water drops next to them. I have a what do you call a water dropper that I love to use, so that's a bit of fun. So yeah, here I'm trying to look at where all of those little dots are, having a bit of fun with that, all of the little seeds, and we have a bit of fun with this here. Lots and lots of little dots here, lots of little dark dots, and I do put some little highlights in as well as we go in a minute. I know when I'm often doing paintings like this, I like to look at the contrasts, and I noticed towards the end that there is a bit more contrast, bit darker at the top, and some of the water drops are a different colour. So I do adjust that here a little bit, just sort of putting in different colours here and there. So yeah, it's been a bit of fun. I'm really enjoying doing this, and every one of these paintings that I do, you know, here on YouTube will have water in it because I love painting water. Water was something that I started painting when I first stumbled across how helpful it was for my mental health to actually hang out and just enjoy sitting at the canvas. And it's such a really beautiful meditative thing to do. And I hope you enjoy doing it too, because whether you join me, you know, online or whatever, I just encourage you to get the brushes out, get the pencils out, get something out to really enjoy and chill out. I hope you've enjoyed having fun watching me paint this strawberry. If you want to join me online to paint one of these once a month, you can go to paintingwithheather.com/limitless. It's a wonderful membership. It's a great community where we have loads of fun and you learn so much doing these little minis each week. Hope you can join me. Until next week, have a good one. Bye.